The sea covers over 2/3 of our planet's surface. Yet we know more about space and the universe than we do about our own oceans. Scuba diving allows us to peel back the blue veil that obstructs our eyes from all the magnificent things that lurk below. And rest beneath the sea. We invite you to join us as we travel and explore all that lies beneath. Hello everybody, this is Captain Denis with SQUALUS Marine Divers. Today we are up with the birds, like my grandfather would say, heading out to the wreck of the USS San Diego. Here we are. You can kind of see what it looks like here. So if you ever drive past this stretch of water, this is where the San Diego is. So we're going to get in the water, and the captain warned us that it looks like we have a touch of current here today. And that is the biggest understatement of the day. So forgive some of this camera footage, because when we get in the water, survival is job one. So I kind of need both my hands. And the current was pushing us pretty good. So this is just kind of a couple seconds of what it was like to find our way down. It wasn't a deflate your BC and glide down like a butterfly. It was more like pull yourself down. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So after getting down a little bit, it tends to subside a little bit. And we are down, tied into the bilge keel. This is the bottom of the ship. The ship is turtled, so it's completely upside down. So this is the very bottom of the ship. And as we move to explore the rest of the ship, kind of remember that. So here's a giant crack that is, we're facing the bow, so we're looking at the bottom of the ship from underneath. So we're going to spend some time just filming the crack, and as we look up, we are actually looking to the bottom of the ship. So bunch of strange pieces all over the place. The USS San Diego was about 503 feet long and 69.7 feet wide. She was part of the Great White Fleet. And the general understanding is that she was sunken by a German mine. Gotta watch out for the mines. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the reason she's flipped over is because of the weight of her guns that were basically shooting out of the sides. So you can see that in the other video that we have. And when she took on water, over she went and ended up on a roof. But don't quote me on that. It's just my own crazy speculation. But you can see there's a lot of stuff to explore here. A lot of nooks and crannies. Ships like this are great because they also provide great habitat for local marine species, and the fishermen love these types of places. As you'll see in a little while, loaded with fish. So we are now on the underside of the boat, but we're on the side with the current on it. So it's going to get really creative. I'm very negative right here, and I'm going to be kind of clawing my way up the ship as the current tries to push me off of it. We're going to try and make our way to the bow, and we came across all these sea bass and blackfish that were looking at me like, what are you doing here? What are you, nuts? Because there's a pretty good amount of current on this side, at least today anyways. For some reason, the sea bass love it over here. They are everywhere. Well, we're going to keep moving towards the bow, and we find this hole. So I'm not going to be able to fit in it, but we can get the camera in there. So let's look around and see what's in that hole. A couple of little hatchways for fish to swim in and out. Some more sea bass. And some more sea bass. If you can't catch a sea bass here from the surface, you should probably hang up your rod. Okay, so we're gonna head back towards the crack. Look around some more. This is the inside. There are actually corridors in this ship that you can go down and look inside doors and see compartments. We're planning on doing that when we come back. But this time we're just going to kind of give it a brief overview. If we show you everything, you're not going to want to go check it out yourself. Now, when you go inside of a shipwreck, it's called penetration diving, and it requires a certain skill set. And we encourage you that if you are planning on doing penetration diving, that you get the proper training before attempting to do so. When you penetrate a ship underwater, sometimes they're leaning, sometimes they're on their side, and sometimes they're upside down. And when that happens, you can really get disoriented inside. And as you can see, there's a lot of particulate that's from divers bumping in the walls, which is bound to happen. And you can really completely destroy the visibility. This isn't too bad. You can see here all these wires and pipes and things. There are a lot of entanglement hazards on a ship like this because this is an authentically sunk ship. Basically, this was a loss of life and property. There are shipwrecks down in the islands that are artificial, and all the wiring and things like that, oils, they've all been removed prior to the sinking of the ship to create an artificial reef. This is 100% the real deal. The USS San Diego is listed on the National Registry of Historical Places. So some serious stuff went down here. So we're going to head out of the crack, and we're going to move towards the bow from the outside. We'll check out some of these holes and check things out from a different perspective. I'm not familiar with this site, so we're just gonna look in the windows. Still moving forward. We're going to pop our heads in here in this crack, and you can see how massive it is inside. So many different directions to go. Fish are hanging out. Here's the roof, basically, on the bottom of probably one of the lower decks. And there's John, just scoping out the place, seeing what he can see. Another factor that you'll have inside shipwrecks, if you're not diving a rebreather and you're diving an open circuit tank, your bubbles will go up and hit the roof, and it could knock down silt and ruin the visibility also. It's always interesting to look inside of ships like this and see how they were left. Just how things ended up. Now we're gonna go down to the next hole. And more wreckage. Something strange down there in the bottom that looks like a cylinder. And we're going to make our way back to the anchor line. We hope you enjoyed this long dive on the USS San Diego. As I get my reel back from my tie-in, we're going to head on up back to the wreck valley. Like I said, the current and the surge were pretty substantial. And we passed a couple divers on the way up. And if you watch carefully, you can see how the surge just pulls them around like two socks in a washing machine. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's dive, and we look forward to diving with you again. Check us out at SQUALUSmarine.com. This is our 109th dive, and you can watch the rest of them at your leisure. Until next time, I'm Captain Denis.